faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. Well, there's nothing good about that performance in Levi Stadium today versus the Kansas City Chiefs. That was a terrible performance by the San Francisco 49ers. Now, credit is due to the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, they're an elite team. We knew that coming into this game, but the Kansas City Chiefs are supremely talented. They don't need Tyreek Hill. That number 10, their running back, a seventh round pick out of Rutgers, and he was running all over the field. Miko Hardman scored 3 touchdowns on the same play, on the same type of play. Travis Kelce, we knew he would get his. Pat Mahomes made plays. And one of my keys to the game, well, 2 of my keys to the game, one of them was the 49ers have got to get off the field on third down. 49ers third down defense was terrible today. Charvarius Ward, what are you doing? Why are you watching the quarterback? You just gonna let MVS run right past you? Like, what are you doing? I don't understand that at all. Mooney Ward, Tayshaun Gibson, we know he's not good in man coverage. That's not his forte. That's not where he's strong at. So I don't know why D'Amico continually puts him in that position, because that's not a position of strength. Tayshaun Gibson is not a man-to-man corner. He is not good. He cannot do that at the safety position. He is better in zone coverage. But that's the problem with blitzing. When you blitz, it's all one-on-one coverage. You blitz more guys than they have blocking. You hope to get there. And there was no pass rush today. I know Bosa had a sack. I saw Drake Jackson get some pressure, but man, there was no pressure on Mahomes. We didn't have to keep contain on Mahomes today. He didn't have to run. So man, it was embarrassing today. The flags, man, flags were all over the field. Jalen Moore, how the hell do you get a flag when you are blocking for a field goal? What are you doing? I just don't get it. Either Shanahan is coaching it, or Shanahan is allowing it to happen. But yeah, it was an embarrassing performance today. I can accept getting beat by a better team, but when you have, how many penalties did we have today? Because it seemed like every other play there were penalties in this game. How many penalties we have today? Let's see. In addition to 3 turnovers, we had, where the penalties at? Oh, there we go. 10 penalties for 80 yards, in addition to the 3 turnovers. Time and time again, football is very simple. You got to block. We couldn't do that today. Chris Jones, premier defensive lineman, Frank Clark, Pro Bowl defensive lineman, made Mike McGlinchey look silly out there today. Trent Williams not even getting a hand on the guy. And Jimmy G had that safety. You got to be able to block. We couldn't do that. We couldn't tackle. There are so many missed tackles out there. Huff, I love you, but those one-arm tackles aren't going to do it. Not at the NFL level. Guys were missing tackles. Dre Greenlaw got hurt today. I saw Mooney Ward. He got hurt today. Kyle Juszczyk, looked like there was something wrong with his hand, his finger, whatever. He got hurt today. Like, one positive, I like what I saw from CMC. I think he can definitely do some things in this offense. But another one of my keys, got to be able to score touchdowns against this Kansas City Chiefs offense. You are not going to be able to score field goals and expect to win against the Kansas City Chiefs. It's just not going to happen. So not going to happen. Huge shout out if you're watching on Jay and Bay Facebook, Jay and Bay YouTube, Jay and Bay Twitter. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that bell notification. I will be dropping the link in the chat probably at the 10-minute mark, and people can call in and voice your concerns about, this 49ers game versus the Kansas City Chiefs. This was supposed to be, hey, the 2012 reunion. Harbaugh's in the building. I saw Joe Montana there. Of course, Jay Rice, the GOAT, he's always there. You had great players from 2012 come back to Levi Stadium. Um, the first game of CMC, we're at home. I thought we started off well. We were able to move the ball down the field, and then the Chiefs made adjustments. And when they did that, when they started doing that, it was a totally different ball game. And yeah, this 49ers defense without Emmanuel Mosley, without Javon Kinlaw, without Eric Armstead, it's not the same. I think we're still a good defense, but when we play against elite offenses like the Chiefs, we're just not good enough. And unfortunately, I was right. This is one of the few times where I'm right and I'm not proud about it. But I just thought that the Chiefs were a better team. They proved that today. And yeah, I mean, it's just we got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. SG Sports Talk, what's good? How you doing today? SG Sports Talk. Appreciate you for coming in tonight, and appreciate you coming in during the pregame as well. Roberto, what's good? Roberto says we ride together, we die together. Bad boys for life. Absolutely, man. I mean, hey, I'm still 49er fan. That ain't going nowhere. But yeah, that was, and I thought we would lose. I just didn't think we would get beat down. I didn't think we would get beat down. I thought we would lose, but not get beat down, man. That was embarrassing. That was embarrassing performance right there. It can't get no worse than that. And the 49ers have had some bad losses already. And what do you and we are right back where we were last year. Last year, we started off the first 8 games. I think we were 3-4 or 3-5. I think the last year started off at 3-5, and now we're in the same position, even though we have upgraded talent. Well, not the quarterback position. I mean, Jimmy's Jimmy. But man, what a crazy! It's so weird. We're back in the same position we were last year. We got a must-win game versus the Rams, which I don't fear the Rams. I have no problem in facing the Rams. But yeah, it's man, what a terrible loss. We got Niner Fanatic Podcast in the building. What's good? How you doing, Niner Fanatic? He says, "What's up, brother Jay? Terrible loss. Yeah, terrible loss. One thing I'm looking forward to next week, though, against the Rams is CMC back in this offense. I thought he looked good. I think we just have to use him more. I mean, Jeff Wilson Jr. looked good. You look at his stats, Jeff Wilson Jr. averaged like 6 yards a carry. But hey, we should have just kept running it more with Jeff Wilson Jr. I don't know why we didn't. But yeah, I mean, we could have just kept running it with Jeff Wilson Jr. I know, but the thing is, a few times when he would get those big runs, there'd be penalties. And you'd have to, add 10 yards and repeat the play. And speaking of third down efficiency, the Kansas City Chiefs were 6 of 9 on third down. You're not going to win no games like that. You cannot allow your opponent to get 9 opportunities and convert on 6 of those opportunities. One was I think it was a 3rd and 10. Mooney Ward, I don't know what he was doing, but he was looking in the backfield, not looking at the receiver. Just let a receiver go right by him. What you doing, Mooney? I don't know what Mooney Ward was doing, what he was thinking there. You let Paper Plane McKinnon, I repeat, y'all let Paper Plane McKinnon run 30 yards on a third down? Man. And I know Paper Plane didn't do any of that when he was with the 49ers, but man, that was embarrassing there as well. And the third down defense has got to get better. And the only way it gets better, you got to get pressure. And it just wasn't there today. Just was not there today. Niner Sickness, what's good? Niner Sickness says, "Hey Jay, what an embarrassment display today against the Chiefs." I agree, man. Piss poor performance, man. Completely agree. I'm gonna go ahead and drop in the link. feel free to call in and express your thoughts about this game that the 49ers put on film today versus the Kansas City Chiefs. You can do voice only. You could be put on the screen if you want, but feel free. This is the call-in show, post-game show. Feel free to call in, man. But yeah, that was just a despicable, piss poor performance. And hopefully that's the worst performance of the day. I don't think it can get any worse than that. Mike McGlinchey. I mean, we know Mike McGlinchey has his limitations. We know Chris Jones. He is a premier pass rusher. We know Frank Clark, they're premier pass rushers. But man, they just made Mike McGlinchey. It didn't matter whether it was a speed rush, power rush. It was terrible, man. It was terrible. And that's one reason why they hold Kittle in to block. I mean, that's one of the reasons why, because McGlinchey cannot hold up consistently enough. When he goes up against an elite pass rusher, it's that pass rusher has an advantage, and they exploit it. So let's continue on with these comments. Niner Sickness says Jimmy G and Mike McGlinchey both need to be gone next season. Yeah, I mean, McGlinchey, he's in the last year of his rookie contract, so he's making $10 million this year. I mean, honestly, I won't be surprised if the Niners bring him back, but I would love to go in a different direction. I mean, he's solid, but when he goes up against the elites of the elites, he just doesn't measure up. Point blank, McGlinchey does not measure up when he goes up against the elites of the elites. You have to put someone next to him to help him block, or you bring a running back in to maybe chip his defender while the running back is on his way out to a pass pattern. But yeah, and Trent didn't even get a hand on Frank Clark when Frank Clark got that sack safety. Didn't even get a hand on him, and most of the time we don't see that from Trent. So I'm thinking that's that was one play, but we've constantly seen McGlinchey get beat, and I thought the interior of the offensive line played pretty well. Now, we're Jimmy. Let's talk about that interception in the end zone with Jimmy. One thing with Jimmy, I think he's got to be able to spot out when the defense, it looks like they're going to blitz. Because when they blitz, they have more guys blitzing than we do blocking. And that's what happened on that play. Now, granted, when that happens, Jimmy's got two options. Well, he's got three. He can take the sack, he can move up in the pocket, or he could throw the ball away. I guess obviously if he's in the pocket, you can't throw it away. It's a penalty. But maybe his best option is to step up in the pocket and try to make a play. But he's got to spot that pre-snap. He's got to know that, okay, it looks like these guys are blitzing. Maybe someone should run a quick route, a two-step drop route, something like, so that way you can negate that blitz. Now, he did miss Jeff Wilson Jr. I think Jeff Wilson Jr. ran a Texas route out of the backfield. He was wide open, but Jimmy, pre-snap, he was already determined to throw it to, it was either Kittle or Ayuk over there. And Jimmy, he already knew that's where he was going to throw, because if he would have been able to survey the field, he would have saw Jeff Wilson Jr. was wide open. So, but we've seen Jimmy do this several times. So it's insane to expect Jimmy to do those things when we've seen what he does. We know who Jimmy is. And when Jimmy is pressured, that's when you get your worst Jimmy. He's got to be able to feel comfortable in the pocket. And today the Chiefs did a pretty good job of making him feel uncomfortable in the pocket. And, that's part of the reason why the offense was ineffective. Jeff Wilson Jr., I'll say it again, he was running well. Pretty much every running back was running well. If we look at we saw TDP there. TDP was getting some burn. That was good to see, but it just wasn't enough. I'm sure Shanahan would say, hey, well, we got down, so we had to throw the ball. Jimmy threw 37 passes. That was another one of my keys for the 49ers victory, which I don't think we did anything that would help us win. When I look at my keys to victory, obviously one was third down. We got to get the field on third down. The Niners were putrid in that. They allowed 6 of 9 conversions. Not going to get it done. Our pass to run ratio, Jimmy threw 37 passes. We only ran the ball 21 times. So that's not winning football. That is not a Shanahan winning football formula. That needs to be flipped. We need to have 37 runs to 21 passes. And that didn't come to fruition today. I'm sure Shanahan would say that, hey, we were down and that's why we ran or we passed the ball instead of ran it. But that's not a recipe for success. Pat Mahomes threw for 423 yards against us. 423 yards that Pat Mahomes threw. That's crazy. That is crazy. Juju Smith-Schuster, he looked like he was back in his Pittsburgh days when AB was there. Juju Smith had 7 catches, 124 yards, 1 touchdown. He ran right past Tashawn Gibson, but and Valdez Scantling, 3 catches, 111. We know Kelsey's going to get his 6 for 98. But man, that's disappointing. Ray McLeod, hey, he had his touchdown catch. I think that's his first of the year. Kittle had a touchdown catch, but it just wasn't enough. It just was not enough. And to answer your question, Niner Sickness, yeah, McGlinchey, hopefully he'll be gone next year, and Jimmy, same. Sejan, what's good? Sejan says we don't compliment our divisional teams very much, but one thing I do like about the 49ers is that you guys have the physicality and speed on both sides of the ball. I appreciate that. Yeah, we do. We didn't show that today. I don't think the Chiefs out physicaled us. I just think they were just better. They were able to get after. We couldn't block Jimmy. We couldn't block for Jimmy because he was sacked 5 times and pressured many more times. And Pat Mahomes, he was just sitting back. He was just chilling back there. We weren't able to get any pressure on him. But this is one of the reasons why I thought the Chiefs would win. They were excellent on third down. The Chiefs actually score touchdowns. That's what you got to do. The Chiefs actually score touchdowns. And the Niners are not going to win many games by kicking field goals, at least not against elite teams like this. Like this formula of, hey, 12-play drive, 75 yards, and we end up with 3 points. That ain't going to get it done, faithful. Not against elite teams. It's not going to get it done. It's just not good enough. It's not good enough. For those that are just tuning in, feel free to hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Click that bell notification. And this is a call-in show. Feel free to call into the show and express your thoughts about the performance today. And I will drop a link in the description. And Sejan, Tommy Huxley, what's good? Tommy Huxley says Sejan could win today, and I think the Seahawks won today. I think they beat the brakes off who they played. They played the Chargers, right? I think the Seahawks played the Chargers. Yeah, they beat the brakes off the Chargers. I was surprised by that. Man, I don't know. Seattle's looking good. I know we beat them pretty well, but hey, they're looking good. I guess they're not tanking. Niner Sickness says 49ers run was good, but it's hard to run when the Chiefs are passing for 9 yards or more per play. Yeah, and also when you get down in the game, you want to run the ball, but then you got guys holding. Taylor Moore, how do you get a false start on a field goal attempt? Can someone explain that to me? I don't get it. How do you get a false start on a field goal attempt? I don't understand that at all. Also, Jawan Jennings. I don't know what was wrong with Jawan Jennings today. I don't know if he's pissed because he's not involved in the offense or what, but Jawan Jennings, third quarter, the special teams unit allows that big kickoff return for the Chiefs. You see Robbie Gould and Jawan Jennings chasing after the kick returner. Robbie Gould does a smart thing and pulls up, so that way he doesn't initiate contact because clearly the returner is out of bounds. And then you see Jawan Jennings push the guy out of bounds and get a penalty. Like, come on, man, what are you doing? So it's just, like I said before, I can accept when a team is better than us and they beat us. I get it, but we just you ain't gonna win no games doing this, man. And this ain't the first time this has happened. You're not gonna win any games. 10 penalties, 80 yards. It's just it's this is not a winning formula. So for people that want to blame Shanahan, hey, if that's your prerogative, hey, he deserves it today. Huff had an interception that was good. Gibson had the deflection. That was good. Robbie Gould, hey, he was 3 for 3 on his kicks, 2 for 2 extra points. Robbie Gould did his job, but Mitch Wisnowski, he only punted the ball one time. That's kind of crazy when you think about it. So that clearly shows we were able to move the ball, and he punted it in the 20. But we're not good enough for whatever reason, whether it's the play calling, whether it's the execution, we're just not getting the ball in the end zone. Like, we're able to move the ball down the field, but we just can't get it in the end zone. I don't get it. I do not get it, faithful. Very, very disappointing. And the 3 turnovers, the fumble loss, 2 interceptions thrown. Who fumbled the ball? I don't know if I remember that play. Who fumbled? I don't recall that play. Roberto said, yeah, I said it. Paper plane. Yeah, I said paper plane McKinnon. He ain't no jet. He wasn't no jet with the Niners. He was a paper plane. But yeah, there's no doubt. Jet McKinnon, he's he's better with the Chiefs for whatever reason. I'm glad, hey, he's healthy. That's all good. Glad he's doing well with the Chiefs. But how do we allow a third and 15? I don't think it was a draw. I think they ran a little screen or something, and Jennings or Paper Plane took it all the way down, got the first down. I mean, this third down defense got to get better. Shout out to straight out of the Bay Area Baller 18, Amin the Dream, Kelts Chronicles. We do a show every Monday night. It's going to be on, I think, the Jay in the Bay YouTube channel tomorrow night, 8:15. We will be starting promptly 8:15 p.m. And I had asked the guys after Emmanuel Mosley got hurt, I was like, hey, will DeMeco have to change up his scheme? Because he's been blitzing a lot. And you can do that when you got Emmanuel Mosley and Mooney Ward. You can do that because you're putting guys on an island. It's man to man. That's your man, whoever's in front of you. I don't think you can blitz that much now. Do y'all really want to see Tayshaun Gibson Sr. in single coverage? Do y'all really want to see that again? I don't think so. I don't want to see that. So I think there's definitely going to have to be some changes. And we have our first caller in the building today. We got on 49ers First Takes. What's good?
What's up, man? I don't want to be on camera right now because I'm steaming.
No worries. Hey, what were you most heated about this game versus the Chiefs today, man? Let me know.
I just think the 49ers are what they are. Like, you look at him, Jimmy is what he is. And for us to expect anything differently at this point, this many years down the road, is foolhardy. I thought the defense was a lot better than what they showed. Like, I thought they were so quote unquote elite, but and there was a lot of them backed. And it wasn't like we were missing everybody. Yeah. We had a lot of guys back, and still it really did matter. I think Shanahan got out-coached in this game, out-schemed by Andy Reid. I mean, it's just defense. I mean, DeMeco had one of his worst games as a defensive play caller that I've ever seen. Now, how much can you put on the Chiefs for being who they are? I'd say 60%, but 40% still. I mean, the Niners. I don't think even I called this game over probably at the end of the third quarter, and I know Beto's in here. He told me to, I was calling quits too fast. I don't know. I just sensed something. I don't know. I just sensed a inevitability, and I was right. Everything was bad today. People are like, "Oh, we threw for a lot of yards. We did this and did that," but yeah, like none of those translate into, empty
calories.
That's all it is. It's empty calories. Man, this was as disappointing of a loss. There was a part of me that was like, man, this team isn't real good this year. even though we have a lot of talent.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say, I'll give it a little bit more, but I've seen enough in the last 2 games. This team is extremely talented, right? We have a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. We're just not a good team. For whatever reason, we ain't meshing this year. And I think the Jimmy Garoppolo experiment, for all the people who, want to make positive content on YouTube, and I know, Jay, you're a positive guy. Yes, people sir. They want to spin it. And some people, I'm not talking to you, but there's people that make content or people that are narrative based when they do their media coverage too. People that cover the Niners. They never really want to go in and kind of speak the truth because they don't want to lose the following that they got. I think I want to see, I would love to see from people that, because I've seen even from people that cover the Niners today, I was watching Barros and Mayoka, they were letting it fly today. I think they had seen enough too. So that was, to me, that was refreshing, stop trying to paint a narrative and just call it like it is. So yeah, it was frustrating. I don't even know who to blame, brother. It was a freaking crap sandwich all the way around.
There's a lot of blame to go around. Offensively, couldn't protect Jimmy. Mike McGlinchey,
he
just got bullied today. Terrible. Special teams, we spent all this money in special teams, and it still looks trash. Jawan Jennings, what the hell are you doing, pushing a guy out of bounds? What are you? It's just, in 10 penalties is never going to get it done. One of my keys to this game, and you mentioned the defense played well. I beg to differ. 6 of 9 allowed third down conversions. That's not going to get it done. That's not winning football. And,
I didn't think they played well. I thought they played atrocious.
Okay. Well, you said they looked better.
No, I thought they were better than what they showed. I thought.
Okay.
But obviously I was wrong. A lot of people say they got exposed today. I said it too. This defense got fat on some bad teams, and they need to go back to the drawing board. And D'Amico, I'm not going to go to the level of people saying, he lost his head coaching next year after a game like this. I mean, a lot of people get their ass whipped by the Chiefs.
The Chiefs, yeah.
But the Niners were not competitive in this game after about the late third quarter.
What? They got you're saying they quit on Shanahan? No way.
No, I don't think they quit. I just think the Chiefs are a better team on offense. I think it shows when you have an elite quarterback what you can do.
Yep.
The fact that we never got to see Trey Lance even develop this year is one thing that really is setting the 49ers back, because next year it's going to be the same narrative and the same crap. And it sucks. I wish, if he would have gotten outplayed today and he was playing, I would have said, you know what? He's a kid. You know what I mean? He's going against one of the best. Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And has the potential to be one of the best of all time. That's the level of what he is. But Jimmy is the opposite of that. Jimmy is, I can't even say he's serviceable anymore. Jimmy, within a game, will change your mind about how you feel about him through the course of 4 quarters. You'll be like, oh, he's not bad. Oh man, he sucks. Oh, there's the guy that I knew. And then then he'll throw it away at the end. He was just he was Jimmy today. I'm not surprised at anything anymore. I thought that interception, like you said, he had Jeff Wilson Jr. open on that route. Right, nothing.
He didn't look. Well, it wasn't like he didn't see it. He didn't look. He didn't survey the field.
He doesn't read. He doesn't read the field, man. He is a predetermined thrower.
Right.
Jimmy can't read the field, and then when he's forced to read the field, you see what happens. He panics in the pocket. He stutter steps. He makes bad plays. I don't know, man.
And I think pre-snap, he has to do a better job of seeing the defense. He has to be able to see the blitz coming before it comes. So that way, maybe he can audible, or maybe he can say,
a hot route.
Yeah, instead of running a 12-yard post, I need you to run a 4-yard quick slant because they're about to blitz. And every time they blitz, they always had more blitzers than we had blockers. So they always came in free. And sometimes Jimmy, he'll throw a decent pass. He'll let his receiver go up and make a play, but we didn't really see that today. It was the terrible interception in the end zone, which he should have just ate it, took a sack, survey the field, or know if the blitz is coming. Hey, I have Jeff Wilson Jr. running a little Texas route, he should be able to get open in 2 seconds, and I can throw it to him. But like you said, man, Jimmy, he's predetermined in his reads. He already has a feeling where he's going to go, and that showed today. So
you have a lot of people in the comments say the Niners are one of the most talented teams, but suck really bad. Yeah, it's.
I think they look terrible today, but we have to look too at who they play. They played the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they're one of the best teams in the NFL.
I agree.
I thought we would lose. I didn't think we would get stomped. I didn't think we would get the brakes beat off of us. Like that's what it came to be.
This was a measuring stick, and we fell short.
Yeah, way short. But hey, we have to forget about this game because we have to go down to LA and beat them and go back to 500. One more thing. I was going to say, isn't it crazy how we're right back where we were last year?
Yeah.
Last year we were 3 and 4.
Same cast of characters too.
Yeah.
You know who the common denominator is? Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
And Coach Shanahan. Unfortunately, I love Coach Shanahan, but he got masterclass today. He got schooled by one of the greatest of all time. So,
but a lot of coaches do versus Andy Reid.
Yeah, Andy Reid he was in his bag today.
Yeah, and I'll say this: I can accept when a team beats us because they're better, but when you beat yourself with penalties and turnovers, it's harder to accept. It makes you look like you're not prepared. It makes you look like you're just not a button-up team. And yes, the players deserve some responsibility for that, but then it's the head coach who allows that.
Yeah, and we've had all year our offense has not scored enough points, even in the games we've won. I really think. The league has figured out Jimmy. He's limited. He can't do certain things, and it shows on the field. They'll get their little plays here and there, but for the most part, it's usually teams just sit on those underneath routes. Man, they know you're not going to challenge anybody deep, and anytime we do throw it deep, it's not even close or it's intercepted. Like that.
Yeah.
That's like I said. I wish Trey was playing just for the fact that he could go through all this. Whether he got mollywopped today or not, he'd be getting all this experience. And the fact that he's on the sideline or in the press box sucks.
Yeah, no, I would agree. For those that don't know, obviously 49ers First Takes. You got your own YouTube channel, man. Make sure you guys check out 49ers First Takes. What do you have on tap? You got a show tonight or? Doing something?
No show tonight. I'm trying to keep myself on schedule, three streams a week, nice. Unless I have a special guest like a Joe Shasky or something. But Monday's NWO, Tuesday or Wednesdays is Ted H. For any of you guys know him, Ted H7. I think it's Hazelrig. He's coming up with his own channel soon. Nice. And then of course Fridays it's me and Amin the Dream. I'm always down to do a surprise stream of because it's hard to get certain people sometimes. So if somebody cancels out and you stream on another day, sometimes people come available. But like you, I'm a person that likes to do things kind of in a specific kind of order to keep my mind right. So I got 3 streams: Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I'm not here to promote my deal though, man. I just wanted to come in here and talk.
It's all good, man.
I appreciate the opportunity to promote myself, but I ain't trying to do that. I'm good.
It's all good. I appreciate you calling in tonight, man. You have a good rest of your night, man. And hey, we're only 3 and 4. We got 10 more games left. So hey, the season is still wide open. So
yeah, the season ain't over yet, but we got a lot of work to do if we were going to be even competitive this year. So
absolutely. You have a good rest of your night, man. Thanks.
All right, brother, man.
All right. That was 49ers First Takes. We have another guest who will be calling in. We got John Jay from the 49ers Ultimate Report YouTube channel. What's good? How you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing good, Jay in the Bay. I also wanted to say, if you hear any type of noise, I live next to a freeway. My window's open. It's kind of warm up here in the city. So, yeah.
No worries.
Okay.
So what was one of your, most disappointing aspects of this game tonight?
Well, where do I start?
Yeah.
Where do I start? Like, the first thing I want to say is I've watched so many 49er games. I wanted to say that I've watched so many 49er games. I'm not like the OGs, like some of the great content creators we all know. I'm not an OG. So, but I've seen a lot of 49er games. And every week, I always come in and I always try to put myself in reality. Just expect the worst and hopefully the best, happens. Hopefully the best happens. Today, like my stomach, I had no emotions. Like I really was very sick to my stomach. Like the Niners came out, we scored a field goal, we got a touchdown, we intercepted Patrick Mahomes. Everything was rolling very well for the Niners. But I had to remind myself, this is the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City got back rolling. They showed who they are. And one thing that I've seen Jimmy Garoppolo do this year that any other year, he's been forcing throws. For those who don't know what that means, is he throws a ball at a target as hard as possible, and he's been making very bad judgments. That interception at the goal line, the special teams, did a good job. The receiver of Kansas City lost the ball. We got the ball back. We're inside the 15-yard line. We don't need to take any shots. We just have to take our time, stay in field goal range. And Jimmy Garoppolo forced the throw. I don't know who was the wide receiver, but
I think it was Kittle. You talking about the one in the end zone?
Yeah, the one in the end zone.
It was Kittle and Ayuk were over there. I'm not sure which one he was throwing to. I think maybe it might have been Kittle, maybe.
Yeah,
it was one of those two guys. But
so there's a thing about Jimmy Garoppolo. Like his last 3 interceptions, the ball was either forced, didn't have to be thrown there. At the same time, his interception of last week, that went to Debo was a little bit too high, and people said it was a pass interference. It was a little bit too high, so he's not on touch when it comes with throwing the football. I do want to say a positive that Christian McCaffrey, if he gets more time, it's worth those draft picks. But again, he needs more time. I think next week and the rest of the season, he's going to do so many great things for us. So, we do have to look at a positive. Mike McGlinchey, I've said this on my channel, like his pass blocking has always been a problem. I don't know how many penalties. Trent Williams, I want to talk about Trent Williams. Back-to-back plays.
Back.
This guy is a Pro Bowler. This guy is supposed to be our best offensive line. Before the safety, he got burned. Like our top guy got burned, our offensive line. Then in the second one, he missed the cover. He missed the coverage, did not get his assignment. So that's the offense. Now we go to the defense. The biggest moment was 3rd and long. And Charvarius Ward, instead of running back and playing behind the receiver, he decided to play the front of the receiver. And I said this on my show. I said this to my boy David, Corey, my boy Shifty. Patrick Mahomes, it looked like he just tossed the ball up in the air. It didn't look like he threw the ball. It went up there, easy catch. And I was mad at Charvarius Ward for what he was doing. He's been playing good all year. There's so many things to talk about. I don't have time to discuss it, but those are some big moments that really frustrated me. And I was saying, after that interception, this game was over because I knew when the Niners are trailing from behind, they even showed a stat. We're 1-29 when we are trailing. The only victory was last year, Week 18, against the LA Rams. So if we're trailing,
we're screwed.
Kyle, for whatever the reason, cannot win from behind. So I'm just tired of defending this team. We do have a lot of good players. We are injured, but at the end of the day, the head coach needs to put more responsibilities. And again, Trey Lance is out for the year. Jimmy's the guy for right now. He's our only option. We saw Brock Purdy play. He's not ready. You could tell he's not ready. A lot of those passes were garbage time, yards. So, I don't know what to say. I'm just very, very disappointed of what I saw today.
And the penalties, we can't win games when we penalize ourselves. I thought, Jeff Wilson Jr. looked good. He averaged 6 yards a carry. Plus he had a run of about 15 yards, but it seemed like we needed to do that more, but we were down. So, Shanahan thought, hey, we have to throw the ball to get back into the game, but that's not really the strength of this team, man. That's a telling stat. One win out of, I think so, 1-29, right? That's crazy. That's insane. That basically, hey, we get down, we're screwed, and I think Jimmy and Shanahan have equal blame for that. For whatever reason, this team just cannot come back. Obviously, we did last week against Atlanta, right? We scored 14 points, we tied it up, but again, the second half tonight, we scored 9 points. Like, that's just not going to get it done. And you're not going to be able to beat the elite teams by just scoring field goals. That's just not going to happen. You got to be able to score touchdowns and put teams away. And that's what separates, honestly, right now, we are talented, but we're just playing average at this point. And that's what our record is, 3-4. I guess we're a little below average. So, yeah, I mean, we got the Rams next week. I'll let you go with this. Are you less or more confident going up against the Rams in Levi South next week?
Yeah, it's so funny. We call that Levi South. My boy Rudy, you know Rudy. He's a good Rams fan. Sometimes he loves to goof around, but I like Rudy. Sometimes he says some things that aren't true. But shout out to my boy Rudy. But the point is that I'm not worried about the Rams and this is not something that started with Shanahan and McVay. We've owned the Rams. Yeah. Like in 2016 when we were god awful, both our wins were against the Rams. During the Harbaugh era, we won the majority of those games. Even when we were awful, in the 2000s, we never got swept by the Rams. We swept the Rams. We were a really, really good team. So I'm not worried about the Rams. Now, I look at the schedule. The Chargers, at one point just a few weeks ago, they were a little bit shaky. They've been winning some games, so we got to worry about the Chargers. We're playing on the road. Even because they play in the same building, the Chargers, then you go down, the rest of the games. Like, it's hard for me to say down the road after the Rams game how we're going to do. I do hope once everyone is healthy and comes back, we can start winning a lot of games, but it's just hard for me to be honest. And I'm very realistic. I don't lie to myself. I don't lie to the viewers. It's like, we hold this team in a high standard because what we did in 2019, what we did last year. But Kyle Shanahan, this is now his 6th season. This is the second time in a row we are either 3-5 or now 3-4.
I know.
This guy's supposed to be the guy. We brought him in because he was supposed to be a good offensive guy. And I'm not sure what we have to like. And I like Shanahan. He's not a bad coach. He's been in the NFL for like almost 20 years. Like, he knows what he's doing, but what he's done with us, he's never got that quarterback, position right. And
that's true.
And Jimmy Garoppolo, unfortunately, he's the scapegoat. And again, there are moments where he does good.
Yeah.
But we only remember the awful stuff. So
unfortunately, those stand out. Kind of like with Mike McGlinchey, if there's 50 offensive snaps or 40 offensive snaps, he'll play good in 45 out of 50 snaps, but then he'll give up a sack on a 3rd and 10 or something like that, and that's all we remember. But hey, we are only 3-4. This NFC West division hasn't been great at all. I don't think any team is over. Oh, the Seahawks, they're the only team that's over 500. I believe they lead the division right now. Yeah. Who would have thought that at the midway point of the season? But hey, 49ers Ultimate Report, a.k.a. John Jay. What you got going on your YouTube channel in the next 24 hours?
Mm-hmm. So thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it. Before I talk about my channel, again, if you're not subscribed, if you're watching the show, you're enjoying it, my boy Jay in the Bay, he knows what he's talking about. As I mentioned this many times before, and I'm not going to stop saying it. Like, I wish I could be Jay in the Bay. He's a really good content creator. I am not at the level of Jay in the Bay, but always make sure you support my boy Jay in the Bay, because if you're not, you're doing yourself a disservice. But my channel is 49ers Ultimate Report. I do daily news content. I have interviews. I got guests, and I got my boy Shifty every Thursday. Me and Shifty, Shifty's a good dude.
Yeah,
we do a show together. And of course, also check out my boy Shifty, because we got to grow in this community. YouTube is a community. We support each other. So thank you very much for letting me tell the audience about myself. But again, this is Jay in the Bay Show. So subscribe to his channel, like the video. Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. And you are an excellent content creators, man. You are very consistent. Enjoy watching you, man. And you are very passionate about the 49ers and knowledgeable. So continue doing great work over there, man. Thanks for calling in tonight. I appreciate it.
Have a good night, Jay.
You too.
Shout out to everyone in the chat. Go Niners.
Go Niners. All righty. We have another guest who would like to give his thoughts on the 49ers putrid, piss poor performance tonight versus them good old KC Chiefs. We have Shifty's 49ers talk in the building. What's good? How you doing tonight, Shifty? I think you might be on mute.
I'm pretty good, man. I could be doing better, but overall, it's one of those things, right? You win some, you lose some.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And this was obviously one of the best teams in the NFL, and the Kansas City Chiefs. One of my keys to this game, we got to be able to get off the field on third down. We didn't do that. We didn't win the turnover battle. I think the Chiefs got several long third down conversions. They let paper plane McKinnon land his paper plane on the field on a screen pass that he took for 30 yards. Like, man, this was a terrible defensive performance. I think this is probably one of the worst defensive performances, but you're playing the Chiefs. They're going to make a lot of teams look bad. Do you think this is, hey, the Chiefs are elite and they showed it tonight, or the 49ers have some real deficiencies and we're going to have to get those corrected? What are you leaning more towards?
I mean, it's definitely both. To me right now in the NFL, I think you have the Bills, the Eagles, who are undefeated, and the Chiefs. I think they've separated themselves, and then you kind of have a bunch of other teams who are still competitive, don't get me wrong. But I think those three teams have really separated themselves. But, I look at this game, and I've been thinking about it for a while since the game ended. And the word that just comes to mind is, like, with the defense, I'm just kind of disappointed. They had a great beginning. They had a couple of good plays, and then Deshaun Gibson, great play, flips the ball up. Hufanga intercepts it. You're thinking defense is going to have a lot of confidence. They're going to be fired up. They're going to make plays throughout the game. After that interception, they couldn't stop anybody. Like, they couldn't stop the Chiefs one bit. And it felt like the Chiefs were just doing whatever they wanted. Offensively, I thought we actually moved the ball pretty darn well. I think McCaffrey is going to be fantastic in this offense. I thought he was really, really good. Looks really comfortable in what we do here in San Francisco. Give him some more time, I think, especially after the bye week. And, man, I think he's going to be special. But Jimmy Garoppolo, the awful interception. No excuses for that. See, if this was Trey Lance in the first one or two, if like his first couple of games in the NFL, you'd say, well, he tried to make a play and he'll learn from it. He won't do it again. Garoppolo's been in the league way too long. He can't be making those mistakes. So it was really that. But as you mentioned it, the third and long, because the final score, I think it was somewhat indicative of what happened. Like, the Chiefs beat us every phase of the game. They deserve to win. But think about this. We just scored a touchdown with George Kittle. Great pass, even better catch by Kittle in the end zone. 28-23. We're only down 5. There's 14 minutes left in the game. It's 3rd and 11 for the Chiefs. You think, hey, can we just get a stop?
Yeah.
Bam, 50-yard play. On 3rd and long, the 3rd and 20, you talked about it. Jerick McKinnon coming back to haunt us. Hats off to the Chiefs for making the plays. You can't knock that at all. But I just felt like we had opportunities here. And look, realistically speaking, like, I didn't think we would win this game. But, man, you just feel like even though we lost by 21 points, you felt like there were opportunities where we could have actually really come away possibly with a win. But the second half, we're down. You give up 30 points in the second half, and it's just tough. Tough.
It was very, very, very tough to watch. And I'll say it again. The Chiefs are a better team than us, and I can totally understand when the better team wins the game. But we got beat down today, and it's hard to accept when you have penalties, because penalties, It's just you got to play button-up football, especially against the elite teams. We can't afford to have 10 penalties, 80 yards just given to the other team. You're not going to be able to win games like that. And, one thing I saw last week was 41-16. That was the pass-run ratio. That's not a Shanahan offense, especially not with Jimmy G under center. We're not going to win many games like that. And we have a similar ratio at the end of today's game. Jimmy ended up throwing, I think it was 30-something passes. Let me double check. I think it was, Jimmy threw 37 passes, and we only ran the ball 21 times. That's not a recipe for success. That's not Shanahan football. And Jimmy can't win games that way. So I'm going to be a little bit optimistic and say, hey, the Chiefs were clearly a better team. We're not ready for that type of competition yet. And obviously Shanahan and Jimmy deserve blame. And the guys who committed the penalties. How do you get a penalty on a field goal attempt? You're supposed to allow guys come to you on a field goal block. I don't know what the hell Jalen Moore was doing. That's ridiculous.
I mean, all you can do sometimes is laugh. You're just like, how does that? It's not like you're not trying to push anyone. Like you're just trying to.
Don't let anyone come past you. It's like, what are you doing? And it's crazy because that we had the punt, and that was only Mitch's. I think he only had one punt in that game, and that was it. And we got lucky, recovered the fumble, but hey, I thought, we're in the red zone, we're about to score a touchdown, but unfortunately that did not happen. What's going on your channel in the next 24 hours? Let the viewers know.
I just put out a video. I posted it within the last 30 minutes. It's my kind of reaction and breakdown to the game. What I'll be doing probably in the next day or two is putting out it'll be my second edition of my power rankings for the week. I do the top 10, and then I also do the bottom 3. And then after that, I'll be doing a preview for the Rams game very quickly, and I won't keep you long because I'm going to head out. But the play that really bugged me the most, what play that bugged me the most? Was the kickoff from halftime to start the third quarter, and then Jawan Jennings gets the personal foul.
What are you doing? He's running out of bounds. Even Robbie Gold. Robbie Gold pulled up. Robbie Gold did the veteran smart move. Hey, let's pull up. He's going out of bounds, and Jennings was like, "No, I have to push him." I don't know if he's frustrated because he's not really involved in the offense. I think he only had 2 catches, but that's not going to get you more involved in the offense.
No way. And very quickly, and I'll one last thing before I get out of here, is I also agree with you. I don't think the season is over by any means. Keep in mind, last year we were 3-5 and we ended up going on a big run. I still think we can beat the Rams next week. And then actually after the bye week, the second half of the season, very winnable, a ton of games. We're playing a ton of games at home. But yeah, difficult loss, frustrating loss, disappointing. But Jay, thank you very much. I also want to give a very quick shout out to John Jay for giving me a shout out, 49ers Ultimate Report. And if you guys haven't already, subscribe to Jay in the Bay. Super consistent, super good, knows his stuff. Great 49er fan. I'm going to head on out.
Appreciate that, Shifty. Have a good rest of your night, man. Thanks for calling. All right. That was Shifty. We got a lot of 49er content creators calling up, and we have one more as well. We have the Niners Sickness Podcast in the building. What's good? How you doing tonight, Beto?
What's up, Jay? I'm doing all right, bro. I just still trying to figure out what the hell happened tonight or today with our defense, special teams, Jawan Jennings, Jimmy Garoppolo being the Jimmy Garoppolo that we all love.
Love to hate.
Love to hate, exactly. And Mike McClinchy can't block nobody if his life depended on it.
Yeah.
At least nobody that is capable, that is elite pass rusher.
Yeah. He struggles against the elite of the elite, and this is part of the reason why Kittle is in to block. And it seems like every time it's a 3rd and long. They had Charles, not Charles. What's the big defensive tackle for the Chiefs? For some reason, his name is escaping me. But he lines up inside on the early downs, and then he goes. He lines up on the edge, and that was against Mike McGlinchey. And yeah, he made him look silly. He made Mike McGlinchey look silly. And Mike McGlinchey, hey, he can play 95% of snaps. He'll look good, and then he'll give up a sack on third down, and that's all we'll remember. And yes, overall, there's a lot of blame to go around, and it was just disappointing. It's kind of I don't even get mad at Jimmy. I mean, he is who he is at this point. Shanahan is the reason why Jimmy is back here. So I think at the end of the day, you got to blame Shanahan. Jimmy's not going to take accountability. He's going to say, "Oh, we got to do better." We. He never really says, "Oh, I shouldn't have thrown that interception. I got to make better decisions." That's all he really has to say. But he won't say that. Well, how about this, Beto? What's one positive that came from this game?
Kittle's first touchdown of the season.
Wow.
Down
And we're already
the
at the
middle.
midpoint of the season. Wow.
That's hard to believe, right? His
Yeah.
first touchdown of the season.
Wow. And Ray McLeod had a touchdown catch.
And Ray had a "let me help you out, you dumbass Jimmy"
Right.
catch in the end zone. But to give Jimmy his credit, he was getting smashed. So
Yeah.
So, I mean, to be able to go get the ball off was something that Jimmy did. But yeah, Kittle played really good today. But other than that, bro, it is really. I mean, Trent Williams. I understand he's coming back, and I give it. He's missed what, a couple of games. So he's coming back. He's trying to get his
Right.
feet underneath him. But he had two bonehead plays today. One of them was for a freaking safety on Jimmy G. But what is Jimmy G doing pumping the ball in the red zone on that safety, bro? Who's he trying to trick?
I have no idea. He didn't feel the blitz, or it wasn't even really a blitz. Trent Williams didn't get a hand on him. Trent Williams did not get one of his paws on the edge rusher.
It wasn't Trent Williams. I think it was Mike McClinchy in Trent Williams' jersey.
That's
like
good.
the Scooby Dooby Doo thing.
Oh
yeah.
That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. As far as positives, I thought Jeff Wilson Jr. looked good, but it just wasn't enough. We didn't give him the ball enough, probably because we were down in the game. But man, I thought this special teams unit was supposed to be better this year. Are you impressed? Are you impressed so far with this special teams unit?
Oh my goodness! I mean, I didn't get to watch it because I was doing something in the backyard, but I heard right off the second half, man. We gave up some yards, and then
like 50 yards.
And then a bonehead play with number 15.
Yeah.
Just playing not just simply football and the penalties. Crazy, but one thing I noticed, Jay, is it was CMC's first game. He's not really acclimated to this offense yet. Obviously, how can he be? He's teaming some running plays. They're choosing stupid. They adjusted. They realize, you know what? Whenever CMC is in there, there's going to be run plays. It's not going to be pass plays for the most part. And they just anchor down. They anchored, and that's why you felt that CMC struggled in the second half. But that's because he doesn't have the playboys down. You know what I mean? And they anchored. Good for the Chiefs for making the adjustment. But I don't know, man. Kyle Shanahan. Oh man, sometimes I want to blame Kyle so bad, but I know he's limited what he can do with Jimmy. Jimmy ties his hands back, man. People want to blame Kyle, and he deserves blame.
Yep.
But and he needs to take ownership. But how much can you do when your hands are tied with a quarterback mediocre like Jimmy?
The blowout makes this loss worse. Before, my prediction for this game, I didn't think we would win. I just didn't think we would get blown out like that.
Yeah, me neither.
And then the Chiefs, they proved that clearly they're the better team. They're the more elite team. They're playing better right now. But
better coaching too.
Better coaching, yeah, absolutely, all around. But I mean, you got Pat Mahomes. I mean, he's gonna make a lot of things look good. I think the Chiefs are 5-2. I knew Kelsey would get his You know, we didn't really have an answer for him. Jimmy Ward can't guard him. Fred Warner can't. You know, Travis Kelce is a mismatch nightmare. There's a reason why. You know, he's one of the best tight ends in the NFL. Well, honestly, at this point, I think he's the best. Honestly, at this point, I would say he's the best. Kittle looked good today, but it's just not the same. It's not the same. I mean, Kelce, he has 7. No, did he score a touchdown? No, I think it was called back.
I believe so.
I think it was called back, I think. But Kelce, he's got at least 7 touchdowns, and Kittle just got his first. Like that's crazy, man. But what you got going on with your show, the Niner Sickness podcast and the Niner Sickness YouTube channel? What's going on in the next 24 hours, man?
Man, I might go live tomorrow, most likely at 3 p.m. A lot of my guys were like texting me, hitting me in the DM. Hey, man, you gonna do a show tonight? You gonna do a show tonight? You gonna do a call-in show? I'm like, nah, man, I'm too livid. I'm too livid, and just everybody, you know, like yourself and a lot of other content creators kind of went on. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit there and support other content creators tonight, and then I'll do my thing tomorrow. You know what I mean? As much as I enjoy going on, I love supporting great content creators like yourself, man. And
hey, I appreciate it.
doing, you know what I mean? It's
Absolutely.
Good, but I'm frustrated, bro. And I commend you, and I commend anybody that doesn't hide from going live, especially after an embarrassment like this,
Yeah.
and they're just willing to go live because that's what we do the good and the bad.
Yep.
We got to go live. We got to do our thing. And that's what I don't know about you, Jay, but like for me, I came to a place now in my content that I'm going to speak how I feel and how I see the team, whether people agree with me or not. Some people are going to agree, some people are not. I'm just going to be objective to what I see and what I think of my opinions of the team. And if people want to, agree, fine. If they don't, they don't. I just tired of catering, brother. I don't know about
Absolutely,
you.
man. You can't please everyone. You have to be true to yourself. And I think people, will rock with you when they know you're being true to yourself and you're not pandering to anyone. You just got to be
Exactly.
you. You call it how it is. And I think you do that, Niner Sickness. Hey, like that just right now, you're blaming, this was a poor performance today. I think the Niners can bounce back. I don't think if we got to be reasonable, what the Niners have shown over the first 7 games is we are an average team. We haven't hit our stride yet. I think that's what we've shown. The season ain't over yet. We still got 10 more games. We have some winnable games left on the schedule. And it's crazy because we're right back where we were last year. Last year, we were in the same position. So,
Deja vu, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Deja vu. So, I think we can still, it's just one game at a time. Teams get beat like this all the time. And, I think we will bounce back. There's no doubt
Yeah.
about that.
And why not bounce back? You know what? Listen, I don't want to lose no team to no team. You want to continue to rack up wins instead of losses. But
Yeah,
if I had to lose, now if we lose to the Rams, is I'm saying a whole different thing. But
absolutely.
I'd rather lose to the Chiefs than to the Rams, a division foe, because
Excellent.
at this point with the West, I mean with the NFC East, how good they're playing right now. It's about whoever wins the West is going to probably go to the playoffs at this
Yeah.
point because you got the Cowboys at 5-2, you got the Eagles at 6-0, and now you got the freaking Giants 6-1.
Yeah.
So we got to
Who
win our
would have thought
division.
that?
Yeah, who would have thunk it? Real quick, by the way, my wife came in real quick and she goes, "Who are you talking to?" I'm on the Bay, so she goes, "Tell him I said hello." She's a big fan of yours, by the way.
What's good?
Yeah, she's a big fan of yours. She loves your content. She loves
Appreciate it.
what's good. Yeah, she really gets a kick off that. But yeah, man. So I'm not gonna tie you up, man. I'm gonna let other people jump on. I know you have plenty of people on hold, but I just wanted to come on here and support mainly your channel, bro, and just show you some love, bro.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. You're always welcome to call in, and I'm looking forward to the next time we are on each of our own shows. But man, it's good to get this frustration out, man. And hey, I don't blame you if you change your mind and decide to do a show tonight just to get this out, because it's never good to hold it in. It's
No,
always good.
that's why I have a punching bag, bro.
Yeah, we're gonna need that punching bag tonight.
Yep, I have a puncher bag and I have Emmett Smith and Michael Irvin's face on it.
That's funny.
Yeah, old Cowboys guys. All right, my
That's
brother, I'll
pretty
let
good.
you go, man.
All right.
Listen, I love what you're doing. Keep what you're doing, brother. Everybody, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, man. This guy brings some awesome content. Love you, brother.
Appreciate that, man. Love you too. Have a good rest of your night,
Good
man.
night.
All right. All right. That was Niner Sickness, aka Beto. I know you guys know about him. Make sure you check him out on YouTube. Just type in Niner Sickness. Huge shout out to everyone that was in the stream tonight. Tommy, Cjin. We got AI4IT, David Renteria. He is a Cardinals fan. What's good with you guys? Got JD in the building. He says they don't got no dog in them to come back once they're down. Hey, that's a valid point. Yeah, that's a crazy stat. The Niners are 1-29 when they're down by 4 points. Obviously, you got to blame Jimmy G. You got to blame Shanahan. There's no doubt about it. AI says, awful coach. If you have a doghouse and have players on it, shows you're just full of pride and will not grow due to it. Hey, I'd agree with that to a certain extent. David says every single team in the NFC West is bad. Seahawks, you can say, is all right, but the Cardinals look good with D-Hop back. Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, it's crazy that the Seattle Seahawks lead the NFC West after 7 games. Who would have thought that? I thought the Seahawks would be the worst team in the NFC West, but I think it's been a crazy first 2 months. There's been a lot of inconsistency with basically every team in the NFC West. There's been some bad losses, but I think it's going to be a wide open second half. Any team could go on a run. The 49ers have been in this position before last year. So, hey, the season is not over. Jesus says the Raiders did better. Yeah, I think the Raiders won today. David says the Cardinals and Niners are the same, have so much talent, but coaching is holding them back. Yeah. JD says Niners have more stars than Cardinals. I'm sure DR would debate that. Just going through these comments. Cjin says, I've noticed a lot petty calls this season. Got to do better at reffing. JD says the Cards have Kyler, Hopkins, Watt. The Niners have Bosa, Trent, Warner, Kittle, Debo. Now, yeah, I mean, they're both two talented teams. Obviously, Kyler is a different animal at that quarterback position. All the things he can do. The Cardinals, it doesn't matter what the Cardinals record is. I mean, we lost to the Cardinals last year when they had Colt McCoy starting that quarterback, and that was at Levi. So, I don't fear any team in the NFC West, but I have appropriate fear. I know what the Cardinals can do, and they swept us last year. So I don't know how we can be hella confident against the Cardinals when we didn't beat them last year. But I think they are beatable for sure. They're definitely beatable. AI says the offsides on Bosa back-to-back was BS. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't even tell, honestly, with the angles on TV. I couldn't tell. DR says you don't know anything. They got more. Rob. Yeah, the Cardinals are talented, man. There's no doubt. The Cardinals is talented. DR says NFC West is so bad. Hey, I can't lie, man. The Chiefs are legit. There's no doubt. The Chiefs are legit. Yeah, KC has a lot of weapons. On their squad. And when you have Pat Mahomes at the helm, I mean, we had the number 1 ranked defense. We had basically all our guys back on defense except Javon Kinlaw and Eric Armstead, but everyone else was basically healthy enough to play. Even had Jimmy Ward back at safety, but it didn't matter. The penalties hurt us. Ineffectiveness on offense. We only scored 2 touchdowns. That's just not going to get it done against the Chiefs. It's just not going to get it done, man. It's just not going to get it done. Huge shout out to everyone in the chat. Joe Dirt asking for a friend. DR Shifty was in here. We got Dark Heart. He says not too late for all the 49er fans to trade in 49er merchandise for Chiefs merchandise and join the winning side. That ain't gonna happen, Dark Heart. Faithful then, faithful now, forever faithful. this is just one game. And yeah, the Chiefs beat us down today. Make no mistake about it. But it's only one game. We still got 10 more games to go. We can still get to the playoffs. So JD says, David, watch how you talking to me. I've been watching the Niners since I was a kid in the 80s. I seen Jerry versus Dion at Kelsey. Hey, JD, they're both talented teams, man. The Cardinals are very talented. The Cardinals, like I said before, they beat us twice last year. So I don't fear the Cardinals, but I know they can beat us. I mean, hell, we lost to Chicago this year. We lost to Denver this year. We lost to the Atlanta Falcons, and they got stomped today by, was it Cincinnati? Yeah, I think Cincinnati stomped them today. So, I mean, it's every week. I like to believe in momentum and things like that, but every week you never know. You really don't know. Just don't know. David says the NFC West is so weak. Yeah, can we still call Kyle Shanahan a genius? I don't know. AI says whoever calls him a genius needs to stop watching football and not be taken seriously. Yeah, Joe Dirt, if Jimmy's first read is covered, he'll throw blindly. Yeah, no, I agree. He will do that. He will do that. If you guys are enjoying the stream, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. If this is your first time on my show, hey, make sure you subscribe, click that bell notification. I will be live tomorrow night on my show, on my channel as well, 8:15 with the Straight Out of the Bay. It'll be myself, Kelps Chronicles, Bay Area Baller 18, and Amin the Dream. We'll be talking about this game, and you'll be able to hear their thoughts of the game as well. So looking forward to that. Let's see. Joe Dirt says, I honestly don't think we beat them next week. And he's talking about the Rams. I think we will. I definitely think we will. David McNew says, David Renteria is a fair weather fan. Only shows up when his team wins and disappears when they lose. Don't waste your time, faithful. Oh, man. Joe Dirt says, Kyle's days are numbered. He can't adjust. Let's see. David says, I was literally just saying Cardinals and Niners have the same talent, but lack of offense because of coach. Yeah. I mean, you didn't say nothing wrong, DR. You did not say anything wrong. Let's see. DR says, Chiefs are goated. They literally have the best quarterback in the league, top 2 coach in the league right now. Yeah, so part of me, that's how I feel. Like, we were exposed today, but we were exposed by the best, one of the best teams in the NFL, arguably, top 2 coach, top 2 quarterback. But unfortunately, we've lost to other teams that we shouldn't have, like the Bears, like the Broncos, like the Falcons. So this seems to be somewhat of a repetitive cycle with the 49ers. But we were in the same position last year. We turned it around. Hopefully CMC could be part of the reason why we turned this around, Uh-oh, PED Hopkins. Oh, man. Let's see. I appreciate the kind words, CJ, and I appreciate it, man. Appreciate the kind words. I'm looking forward to when we play the Seahawks again. 49ers first take. We are not a good team. Lots of talent, but not a good team. Yeah, good teams don't lose to teams they're not supposed to. And, good teams usually don't get blown out at home, Libby's World. What's good? Appreciate you coming into the stream tonight, Libby's World. Yeah, I agree. Libby's World, hit that thumbs up button. Yeah, David Renteria, great question. Who's going to win the division? He says, only team I can see is Cardinals and Niners, maybe Seahawks. I don't know. It's wide open. It's wide open. I think the Niners can still win this division, but we'll see what comes to fruition. And yeah, Shifty, that was that name, Chris Jones, who just made Double M Mike McGlinchey look silly, man. Chris Jones, yep. And I appreciate that $10 super sticker, Blue True. Hot diggity dog. I appreciate everyone who tuned in tonight. Let's see, No Border Sports. What's good? That sucks. Wayne Breezy got hacked. That's terrible, man. I don't know why people be doing stuff like that. John, what's good? John says we were missing Armstead, Kinlaw, Mosley, Greenlaw. Hopefully Shanahan learns to distribute the ball around to keep defensive on their toes. Debo had a quiet night. Yeah, there's no doubt. Greenlaw. Yeah, Greenlaw did miss the last half. I think he played the first half, at least the first quarter. But we were as healthy as we're going to be the rest of the year. Greenlaw, hopefully it's nothing too serious for Greenlaw. He'll come back. But, Armstead and Kinley, they're probably going to be in and out of the lineup for the rest of the year. Kinlaw's on IR. He'll be out the next 3 games. Armstead, he's got the foot issue. He's got the ankle issue. It seems like it's not going to go away. So AI says Kyle's new name is 50 Cent, only good for 2 quarters. That's funny. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Randy Daytona, man, you spoke it into existence. Randy, you were right. Randy was on the pregame show this morning, and I do a pregame show usually about an hour or 2 before the game on game day. And Randy was the only person who said he thought the Niners would get blown out. He thought the Niners, they would beat the brakes off the Niners. And that's exactly what the Chiefs did. I think he said like 44-13 or something like that. So, Randy, you were right. I thought we would lose, but I didn't think we would, lose like that. Niners Signal says Shanahan is overrated. No Porter Sports. What's bad? I guess I gotta say that now, huh? What's bad? That's funny. Hey, I'll be down to do a collab with AC Sports Fan. Yeah, I'll be down with that. DR, absolutely. I'll do that for sure. AI, appreciate that super chat, brother. He says appreciate your work, updates and reports, always on point, and you stay on it, man. I appreciate that, man. It's the first time I've seen you in the live stream, man. Appreciate you coming in and contributing, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. Tommy Huxley, you were right too, Tommy. You said that the Chiefs were going to beat us. You did say that, Tommy. Appreciate that $2 donation, Tommy. He says Mick Bus Lynchy has got to go immediately. I mean, it's one game. Hey, we were in this position last year. The season isn't over. We're still talented. We're just going to have to bring it next week against the Rams. Make no mistake about it. We got to bring it next week against the Rams. DR says, I'm going to say the second going to be much different. All of the team had their struggles. Yeah, I mean, every team in the NFC West struggled. The Packers lost today to the Washington Commanders. The NFC East is good, but teams go through trials and tribulations, roller coaster type season. That's exactly what this is. So AI says the defensive tackle is being missed big time right now, 2 weeks in a row. Yeah. I mean, the depth is good when you have starters there. Like if there's 40 plays on defense and the starters play 30 and your depth plays 10, I think that's good. But now your depth is playing the whole game. I think that that leaves a little bit to be desired, man. There's no doubt about that. Oh, you're asking a question. Is Shanahan overrated? I guess you'd have to say, yeah. I mean, I think he still has a career losing record. And obviously I know there's context behind that. I know. But is he on the hot seat in Jed York's eyes? I would be surprised if he was on the hot seat. I think there's no way he's not coming back next year and at least have his second year to work with Trey Lance. So I don't think he's on the hot seat, but I would say, yeah, I guess you could say Shanahan is overrated. Like, good teams aren't this inconsistent. We're basically an inconsistent football team. You don't know what we're going to get through 4 quarters, and that's what our record shows. That's why we're 3-4. So AI says flags, missed tackles, allowed third downs. Yeah, allowed 3 long third downs. Yeah, that's just devastating to a defense to let paper plane get a 30, 40-yard run. That's just, yeah, disappointing. Mooney Ward, what are you doing? Don't get that. AI says we were in the game, could have had a lead if it wasn't for the mistakes. I agree. The 10 penalties, 80 yards, that's not going to get it done, man. Not going to get it done. Tommy says, Jay, I knew it was over at halftime. We couldn't stop a nosebleed. That's funny. Yeah, you're right, man. We couldn't stop nothing. Niner Signet says, I forgot to mention during the time we were close with the Chief, I did not hear nothing from Rudy. The minute that the Chiefs separated themselves from us, my phone went off and Rudy talking smack. That's Rudy for you. But it's all good because I talk smack to Rudy too. And it's all fun, man. It's all fun. You know, Rudy, he's not like, he's just having fun. And same to him. When the Rams lose, or like when we got Christian McCaffrey, I was all happy. But it's all fun, man. He's not malicious. So we go back and forth. That's the fun thing about it with fan bases. You just go back and forth, man. Tommy, you can't kick field goals against a high-powered offense is a recipe for losing, plain and simple. Completely agree. Completely agree. You're not going to be able to beat the elite teams by just hitting field goals, kicking field goals. It's not going to happen. And the best teams, they score touchdowns, and that's exactly what the Chiefs did today. Exactly what the Chiefs did today. Huge shout out everyone who tuned into the stream tonight. Appreciate everyone who was involved in whether you sent in chats or if you decided to call in. Appreciate Niner Cygnus, Shifty, 49ers First Takes, 49ers Ultimate Report. Appreciate you guys for calling in. I enjoy doing these call-in shows. I think I'm going to have to call it at night, maybe watch a little bit of this Sunday night football game, and then I'll be back on tomorrow night with Straight Out of the Bay. AI says the one positive, if we clean up our mistakes, we can be right there with the best. Just need to be more consistent with our clean play. I agree with you, AI. The penalties ain't gonna get it done. That's not winning football. So and that's why I said I can accept when a team beats us, but it's hard to accept when you beat yourself with dumb penalties. You know, that's hard to accept. But clearly the Chiefs were the better team. It's just 1 week. We got to regroup and head down to Levi South. And I think that's what we'll do. It ain't like the Rams are playing great right now. I think we definitely need this win. We don't want to go down to 3-5. And we want to go on our bye week. We want to go into our bye week with a win. I think that would be much better than a loss. So appreciate everyone who tuned in tonight. Before you head on out, hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to Jay in the Bay. Hit that bell notification. And we'll be back again tomorrow night. And I appreciate everyone rocking with Jay in the Bay. Niner Signet says Rudy is hella cool dude. He's a Rams homer, but cool dude. Exactly. He's cool, but he just root for the wrong team. But it's funny. It's fun to go back and forth, man. It's definitely fun to go back and forth. And looking forward to this Rams-Niners matchup, coming up on Sunday night. But everyone have a great rest of your night. Thanks for rocking out with me. Jay in the Bay. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Go Niners.